I could hear God saying, Lekki, Lekki, Lekki. Lekki is a very affluent area in Nigeria, and that's about all I know. Every time God talks to me or I hear this name, for some reason, I want to say Lekki Island, but I do not know if it's an island, meaning I do not know. I don't think it's floating off in the sea. I don't think it's floating off in the sea like a separate piece of Nigeria. I think it's part of Nigeria, but for some reason, I always want to call it Lekki Island. But anyway, Yah says the area of Lekki in Lagos, Nigeria is going to flood even worse than before. I think it flooded in June of 2024. Yah says it's going to flood even worse than before because of the iniquity of their pride and the sodomy that they do there. They commit wicked acts of adultery and denigration of their marriages. To denigrate something means to basically crush it down under your foot, to humble it, to shame it, to treat it as if it is worse than nothing. When you denigrate a person, honestly, they will never want to come back around you because they're not able to handle the shame that they feel since you last did something to them or spoke to them in a certain way. So God says that people are not only committing adultery, but they're committing the kind of adultery, the kind of open, shameless, whatever, that it's abusive to their marriages. If their marriage was a human being, the things that they're doing with their bodies with other people who are not their spouse is actually slapping the marriage in the face and committing domestic violence against their marriages. That's what it means to denigrate your marriage. Yah says they are sleeping among each other as if they've never taken vows before the altar of the Lord. If you've never seen a Nigerian wedding, if you've never seen the fanfare, the dancing, the tossing of money in the air like we're in the club, if you've never seen it, just look on YouTube and get a clue. The outfits, they act as if they're going to the opening of the Bridgerton ball. So to do all that, to take vows, these people rarely have secular marriages. It is always a big church affair, and it can be a 3-day, 4 affair, 3 to 4 day affair sometimes for the more affluent families. It's a solid statement of faith, God is saying, a very public covenant. And then he says, when you're disrespecting the covenant, you're equally as public. Sleeping around, not just one, no. A whole roster, females and males having their roster, God says. And to see them acting, he says, you will never think that they did that big event, taking vows in front of Yah himself. He says they are wife swappers in Lekki. Please understand that I think it's where the very wealthy people live. It's an elite class of people who live there. He says they also abuse their own children and nobody knows about it. So then people are committing pedophilia, child abuse in that wealthy area, but they're keeping it very hush-hush, meaning that even the children, even if your own parent is doing it to you, the amount of threats being poured upon the head of the child. Children don't stay children forever. So maybe somebody's now 21 years old, but is still held captive by the threats of an uncle because it's your mother's brother. Your mother has even seen a few of that thing, but she's turning a blind eye because what will the society say? That my brother touched my son, that my brother touched my daughter, that her father touched her. And so, scandals are a regular part of life in Lekki, Yah says, but the result is always the same. Yah says nothing is ever done about any scandal that has come out about the powerful people of Nigeria. If you're Nigerian, I guess you would know that better than me. I know by the utterance of the Lord. Yah says whether it's a big scandal, stealing money from public works, stealing money from the oil company, stealing money from the Federal Reserve of Nigeria, whatever the scandal is, a celebrity sleeping with the deputy president's wife, whatever the scandal is, Yah says nothing ever comes about it. Nothing is ever done. So that means that the justice system in Nigeria and the justice system in other countries who follow this blueprint is absolutely a toothless bulldog. It does nothing. It does nothing. It does nothing. That means that the average person, a rich person can hit you with their G-Wagon, your child dies. Nothing comes of it. Mommy, just take this small thing. We are sorry. And then nothing happens. A whole human life is taken. Money will be exchanged privately. The police will oversee the transaction, respectfully holding their cap on their chest. And they have to hold the cap on their chest because inside the cap is all the thank you, the small things, small thing that has been handed to everyone. And then the child will be taken to morgue, and then that's it. Nothing comes of it. Scandal. A scandal is something that breaks like TD Jakes, that breaks like Diddy. It comes out into the public. When scandals enter the public have a natural desire to see justice served, but it never happens. Please listen to these prophecies in depth. God is saying that even if the dirt comes out of the sewer of Lekki, of other affluent areas of Nigeria, what happens is that it floats on the streets for a while. The people are forced to walk through it, and then nothing ever comes of it. Nobody ever goes to jail. The police are complicit. Leadership, social works are complicit. The judiciary is complicit. The executive is complicit. So then a scandal might as well not break at all. Regular part of life in Lekki, but the result is always the same. Yah says, therefore, I will wash their homes away, and the flooding that is coming will leave some of their homes underwater permanently. And indeed, when God was talking, I was seeing doused roofs. I was seeing that the water will come up to the point where you will just have the little point of a roof. And he says he will leave the water up like that. So this is something that possibly points to the fact that the sea will rise and the sea will stay risen in that area. I will not allow the water to go down or the flooding to cease until most of them are driven from that area for good. So you are hearing the prophecy of the Lord that Lekki will one day be abandoned. People will flee that area and not be able to live there anymore. And